Okay, so again, you obviously want to go first. I mean, again, you don't want your opponent to give the potential starting point of Appaloosa, of Revolt, as we've seen before, and the potential Ancient Warrior link as well, for more interruptions. But, I mean, as we've mentioned before, both players are playing the Zodiac variant. I mean, what do you think? I mean, on our most recent TCG Forbidden and Limited list, we saw that Trident got hit, because, again, very powerful card. And a lot of people thought, man, it's going to, you know, have a big blow, or give a big blow on the Zodiac engine in Tri-Brigade variants, but here it is. 2 Zulis in the top 8.
Exactly. I think that the engine's still solid. There's just no combo anymore like it was back in the day, you know, the Trident up to Ram. So now the players, I think they are both... Samuel's playing on even smaller engine, Raphael's playing 3 Zodiacs, and Samuel's playing only 2. Just to get it out, search it with either a tanky, so technically like 6 and 5 copies respective. And that would definitely just be enough. Raphael starting off his turn with the well-known Fractal, send Nerval, like we said earlier, getting out the kit, and then link summoning for 2, which is all completely fine by Sam.
Right, and that's something that I think Sam already mentioned, or was it Raphael, one of those, in the interview, is that, again, Zodiac, Tri-Brigade, or Tri-Brigade as a whole, it's not that hard of a deck. It's, again, very straightforward, does its job really well, establish your board, easy to go to searches, most cards at 3, so again, super consistent. Again, searching Revolt.
Exactly, this is exactly why you don't want to set your kit earlier, because now you can just link someone away the kit and the Bear Brom, and then chain block the Bear Brom, so he's 100% certain to get that Revolt going. And not the most impressive board, but 2 back row might just be the trick.
Right, which cards could those be? If we take a look at like the deck list, both decks are, you know, hitting those traps.
Order, Strike, Impermanence, Cosmic Cyclone, Called by the Grave.
Yeah, we're
A lot of
seeing.
powerful cards that can help Raphael beat his opponent out. But of course, we do know how Tri-Brigade works. They have 2 points that you have to interrupt in order for them to stop playing. So I do hope for Raphael that he does have those 2. Since they are both playing the Zodiac version, they can also just barrage.
Right. Oh, okay. This was something we've discussed before the matchup, is that Sam indeed decided to main deck the Cyclones.
It was a 50-50 that he lost, unfortunately.
Well, I guess, I mean, you kind of forcing out the Revolt, so that's, I guess, 1 less interruption.
Not really, because Raphael summoned a Rugal, and Rugal can special summon 1 back in the main phase. So
True.
even though that he did remove the surprise factor, he's gonna Ash the Nerval. That's interesting.
It's an iffy one, but I guess you have to. So that might be a tell he already had Ash Blossom, or was he playing around Gamma, maybe? Probably not,
probably
right?
around Gamma, yeah. And after that, there was just nothing anymore you could do.
Yeah.
It's also fine to kind of do it here, but this 50-50 of Cyclone was really, really huge. You know, Raphael just has 1 more card to still play with, and Sam basically just lost a card. And I don't see any answers to the Rugal here as well. I'm not sure if Rugal targets some monster negatives to special summon him, so let's quickly read him since he was on the screen. You can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Beast Warrior or Weak Beast monster from a hand or graveyard, so it doesn't even target. And it's just gonna be it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess that 1 interrupt already was enough, let alone the second one.
Did we get information about the set cards? Which, no,
I missed it. I was looking at Rugal.
I mean, obviously Raphael is not going to say, man, yeah, it doesn't matter because my last set was a Solemn Strike, right? You're not giving your opponent that information.
You're not even allowed to give your opponent that information.
Okay, so let's take a look at the side decks. We see, let's say, for example, if I look at Sam's list, we see Ghost Bells in the main deck. I don't think Raphael is running those.
No.
Correct. So that's already a good one, especially here in the mirror match. Other things?
Raphael citing Shared Bride is very interesting. Skullmeister also only Raphael. Something that is due of note is that Raphael is maining the Imperial Order while Samuel isn't. So that's also very, very interesting. But yeah, I cannot really talk for Samuel that much, but I do know that Raphael has his deck profile. It's going to be live on my channel after the tournament ends. So if you want to hear Raphael's reasons why he played this card, he goes through it very in depth, and he's of course one of the best to YCS win his world contender. And let's see if some can take him down. I do think it's very exciting, this match. Some can just go first now.
Yeah, eventually the winner of the stream will have up after the finals, so who knows? Might indeed be Raphael. You can ask him some questions of some deck choices, for example. But then he needs to win the YCS, right?
Are their extra decks identical? I'm looking at it now. I think they are. Literally just card for card, it's the same extra deck. I mean, Tribegate is one of the easiest solvable, there are some rules that you have to abide by, and then there's just a difference between the cat deck and then the Zodiac deck.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing with Zodiacs, is that, okay, it gives you, well, with Dryadant, it gave you an extra disruption, but it also gives you more beasts in your graveyard, right? So, plus, now we have Zeus. Zeus is still such a powerful beast. It's
insane. I love the card.
Going first, going second. But I mean, so let's see if Sam can pull through. Is Raphael drawing or opening enough hand traps to potentially stop Sam from, going off?
They're both laughing and having a good time, so I like this setting.
Right.
It's very lighthearted, and that's exactly what we want to see.
This is something we... can we see it in like a live YCS? The faces of the players?
When you're standing at the
table.
At the edge of the table. Yeah. They're always getting a small part of the venue and letting the players play there, and everyone is just surrounding them. And I miss that fight. So it's nice that we are still playing the game, even though we're in this situation.
Right. So again, we always tanky, right? This is the...
They never search beer. It's really, really weird. The Fractal is coming down again. Let's see, is he gonna send the kits or is he gonna send the Nerval? He's gonna send the kits. Alright, must have a reason for that. And then Nerval is coming down. It may indicate that he already has the Revolt. It may indicate that he was still searching the kit. Interesting.
So we can assume Keras is already in hand?
Yeah.
Right.
Or he just searches a normal summon here.
Right, yeah.
We haven't really seen the Appaloosa Revolt Double Dragon Lord field just yet.
That's I guess the best combo the deck can pump out, right? First turn.
So the kits can revolve. Both of these players have been playing their turns out for a while. And that is Phantasme.
Yeah.
Exactly. So kind of hidden in the glare. But we can vouch for one of the side decked cards. That's the main card.
Yeah.
It's a main deck card.
Yeah, Raphael is definitely putting in work with those main decked Phantasmes, right? It gives you the 2 draws here in this situation. Again, strong. Plus putting up a beat stick.
Exactly. You can already start forcing out things. If the Appaloosa would come down, it already contests it.
And that's already a big difference compared to, at least with Sam's list. Sam is not running a Phantasme. So in situations like this, that could give you like a big advantage, right?
Phantasme was one of the cards that Raphael was kind of a little bit like on the backside of, and like he wasn't sure if this was correct. It was kind of a last-minute decision, he said. But it's working out now, so I can imagine that he's quite happy with what's going on.
Right. So again, standard plays, searching Revolt, sending one card back to the deck. So Raphael sitting really comfortable. He's always stressed. I mean, if I always see him playing, he's like really stressed.
He's just serious.
Serious.
Very serious.
Yeah. Focused.
Exactly.
That's the correct word. He's
I
really
like
focused.
A healthy mindset to have when you're doing something, you take it serious.
Yeah.
Sam is also not messing around, getting a lot of advantage.
We could see a potential Ash Blossom here. Again, you're kind of safe for the potential Gamma, but nope.
There would have been an Ash Blossom and it would have been on the beer run. But then he would have missed the Phantasme. So it's kind of difficult to read Raphael's hand right now.
Yeah.
But there are 5 strong cards after the reshuffle with Phantasme.
So Sam is definitely there. Those 2 draws could mean a lot. I mean, you have your field, you have your Revolt searched, and those 2 draws could be Strike, Imperm, negations, more hand traps. So we see.
Okay, so Raphael linked away for the Farigid. That's a Farigid coming down, and Raphael Valered the
Veiler, yeah.
Interesting Veiler pick, but I can see why he does it. I don't really. It's difficult though because he used Bearbrum, so he is locked into only special summoning the Tribegate monster. So I think he would have went for a summon the Shurake, link the Farigid off.
So we now see 2 sets. So again, as I mentioned before, what are the potential options? We see Solemn Strike, Imperm. Oh, he is side-taking Solemn Judgment. So Judgment could be there. Order, maybe. So a potential Order could be strong against Raphael's, let's say, tanky. So let's see.
Let's see tanky.
Overlooking his options. That's tanky. It's tanky, all right?
I think that's tanky. Yeah, that is tanky. Nice and clear, Raphael. Doesn't matter how many times you went to Worlds, apparently lighting is very difficult to fill.
Well, it's sometimes hard, right? Yeah. You're somewhat dependent on which location you're sitting in.
Exactly.
Okay.
Also, in Raphael's defense, yesterday he at locals he borrowed a deck from one of his friends, and it's now the maximum rarity. So it's all very, very shiny.
So what are the options? Yeah, you see now the Solemn Judgment again, as we've mentioned before. Sam does side deck triple Solemn.
I can see at Raphael's body movement that the judges are indeed saying lighting, and he's like, "There's nothing I can do." Yeah, I don't think that Sam cares too much. Some experienced player, he knows exactly what's going on. Yeah, doesn't need to see the tanky to know it's tanky.
Fractal, okay. So again, very standard.
No beer, no gorilla.
What potential interruptions could Sam have? So he only has 1 card in hand.
I think because he's going this line, he wanted to use Farigid to special summon 1, then special summon Shurake, then make the Rook up. So I think he's very afraid of a Bell. And in case it is a Bell, then the cards that he has set right now are not cards that he can use to protect the, what's it called, the Revolt.
Right.
I think that that's the reason why he went into this play, because there was nothing else he could have summoned, because Bearbrum locks him into Trigates.
So Karas giving Raphael the extra...
some cards.
Right, the extra special summon? Oh, yeah, the special summon, right?
Yeah,
Phantasme is on the board, but I mean, Phantasme, other than the beneficial draws, it doesn't really do that much, right? It doesn't, against Tribegate, it doesn't really give... Well, Imperm, it could be useful. And Sam is indeed running Imperm, so it could give him some extra protection. With a Phantasme on the field, Sam is thinking his options. Should he... it's probably Judgment?
I feel like it could be Judgment, but then there's no reason to think here except for the Revolt.
Okay, so the summon goes through, no disruptions from Sam.
Right, so there's going to be 4 cards banished, and that's going to be allowed. This is mighty scary.
That's a big one, right? So Imperm is probably going to get shut down by the Phantasme.
The Shurake is being summoned. The Shurake doesn't turn. So this is going to be the 50-50 of Raphael's life, or it's going to be met with a response by Sam. And it seems like Sam is fine with this, so...
Yeah.
Oh, he had the 50-50, and he did banish. So maybe... No, he doesn't have 2 Revolt. If Sam has 2 Revolt, he's officially the biggest brain player in the room, but I don't think that's the case.
It might be. Might be the case. But again, because he was like, well, it could be, like again, reverse psychology, thinking your place. But seeing that we have the information that there could be... it could be Strike as well, right?
There was no real reason to change the Revolt here anyway, because you would have just summoned the Shurake, and with the new revised rules, Raphael can just banish the Shurake, then when that Shurake should activate, it's no longer in the place where he has to activate. So the Revolt is just getting banished here. Raphael's going to link away the Shurake for a ultra rare copy of Blossom. That's not a Starlight, that has to be specifically said. And it's going to search the card with the Shurake, hitting a level 4. This may be one of his quote-unquote favorite plays with the deck. He can search out a Zodiac monster right now and still make a Zeus, even though he hasn't normal summoned yet. He can continue on playing.
that's so strong about Tri-Brigades. Again, it's one of those decks that even without the normal summon, you can pump out a big field, a couple of negations, and if your opponent does have like 1-2 hand traps, they're still your normal summon. And imagine if you're playing Zoo or the Zoo variant, Zodiac variant, there is still, the Zoo's threat in the back of your opponent's mind, right?
Such a powerful card, but he's gonna search the Fractal instead for follow-up. Also, he hasn't used the effect of Fractal on field, and it's quite a big monster. 1900 attack together with the tank, it's 2000 attack.
So, it's Revolt.
It's Revolt!
Revolt, yes. Ooh, okay. Sam is still there. We don't see an interruption from Raphael. He's
How is it Revolt? How? That's so cool. He's okay. I'm a Sam Pearson fan now.
Okay, so what are the options? Sam can banish a card. Phantasma.
Oh, another Phantasma coming down.
And
so, yeah, Sam will banish the Ferrigid here, but I think he overlooked the fact that Raphael still has a normal summon. But I think that this is kind of a last resort kind of thing for Sam right now. 2 Phantasmas is 48,000 damage already, and
let's not forget the 3 draws, right? So kind of replenish those quote-unquote dead cards, not useful cards.
Get any card you want right now.
We now see the Phantasma putting in work. I think it's the first time, right? Today we are seeing Phantasma.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people are signing Phantasma, even though it's very solid this format. Remember that this YCS was when Virtual World wasn't represented as one of the contenders. Like we found out like a week later, 2 weeks later, that Virtual World is solid. So Phantasma was a very solid pick versus Prank Kids, versus Tri-Brigade, versus Sky Striker, which is a deck we haven't really seen in the top cut.
Right. I mean, that's something we can definitely discuss. It's like where Sky Striker engage got, unmanned back to 1.
Exactly.
And
so it's fair to say that the deck is good. I just personally think that there are better decks to play. But you can still get away with it, but you do have to be like an exceptional good player to play the deck. It requires 0 misplays, and that's, I think, maybe a little bit hard to do for the average Joe that plays Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think that if you can play the deck 100% perfect, 100% perfect, no misplays, then why would you quote-unquote waste that talent by playing Sky Striker?
That's the thing. It could do well on, let's say, locals, levels, regionals, but then we have like a YCS 10, 11, 12 rounds of Swiss, and then the top 8 or top 16, top 32. Most of them you just want to go for the most consistent deck, or
like
at least or the deck you're feeling most comfortable with, like again Madolce, for example, as Alex. So we saw Desires again for Raphael, giving him 2 draws, normal summoning the Fractal, double Phantasma on board. Could this be enough? He still has Fractal. Oh, Nibiru. Is that... No, I was about to say, was it the last card in hand of Sam? No, he still has 1 card in hands, but
was
this...
Card that he searched?
And Raphael is... No, it's a draw, right? Okay, yeah. So drawing from the effect. The token in defense position. Again, just checking the attack stats and attack points. But
some huge plays from Sam.
Yeah. Double Revolt. Again, an early Revolt, giving, I guess, Raphael the hint of, man, I might be beaten. Again, waiting on a normal summon of Fractal and then go for Nibiru. Okay, that's strong. Definitely keeps him in the duel, right?
Raphael is kind of showing his hand, something he shouldn't really do. And now it's Barrage or Bust.
A lot of traps.
Let's analyze Raphael's hand properly. There are trap cards.
A lot of traps.
5 cards.
Wow. Yeah, 4 sets plus the tanky, right?
I mean, it's not really the best. I think that Raphael, when he activated the Phantasma, he realized that he wasn't going to push for game this turn. Maybe he even expected another interrupt. So just keeping all the good traps are a massive play from Raphael.
Do we know Raphael as a Revolt? Did he search it out?
He hasn't searched Revolt,
okay.
But I can imagine that with one of the Phantasmas that he has resolved.
Right.
Yeah, will probably happen.
Yeah.
And there's the Revolt coming down.
So Sam normal summoning the Fractal and again getting met by the Revolt, and that's, probably going to get banished. So it's looking good for Raphael. Again, not sure how many.
This forces Sam out to have another, what's it called? Another Caress and a discard, which is quite difficult to do.
Barrage, maybe as a follow-up play.
We haven't seen Barrage yet. So. It's a card that can definitely come down.
Too bad it's only one-off, yeah. So again, Fractal. Okay, Caress.
Yes, the Caress.
Okay.
I don't have a 3-back row. Do you think it's gonna pull through, Steven?
I feel Raphael should have this one. I mean, we saw a glimpse of his hand. We saw a couple of traps, so we know there might be Imperm Solemn maybe, and that could be enough. Could be enough. Tenki is still there on the far right side, face up for both players.
No pendulum zones, unfortunately.
So what are Sam's options, right? He can link 2 or link 4?
Start playing, I guess, but like Raphael already searched the card, so that's just very unlucky. So even though he can make a Shuei, can banish Raphael's Shuei, that's a big option to deny another search, but it's just super difficult for Sam to get through all the advantage right now. And it's going to be met with an infinite impermanence.
Right.
I would have expected a Solemn Strike here, but Imperm also does the trick. And Sam says it's okay.
He concedes.
Have it. All right, skillful play from both. Sam definitely surprised me, but congratulations to Raphael for winning the game.
Right, let's get back to us.